Guys, I'm going to try and speed up in this one slightly because I just saw the length of that last video. One thing I didn't show you, and I was just going to point out, is the use of your fillet tool. Okay, so at the moment that's got really quite sharp edges on things. You can fix all that up just by using your fillet. So you can do a fillet on a sketch, or you can do a fillet on a 3D body like these. So let's just see how we do that. I'm going to press F on our keyboard, and you can press either. You can select individual lines like so and put in a fillet. Now just be aware that because this piece of material is only 3mm wide, if you say that you wanted a 3mm fillet, it's going to remove a lot of material. It's like the whole thickness of the material. So let's say we want to have a 1.5. 1.5 should meet in the middle of 3, shouldn't it? Because it's coming 1.5 from both sides. And then you could click OK. Or instead of selecting edges, you can select entire faces. So I can press F and click and 1.5. And doesn't like that. So if you get something like that come up, just go back and reduce the size so it's happy with a 1, not a 1.5. And you can then see you get this sort of much nicer rounded finish to your design. Okay, just going to flip that over and do the same on that side. So let's do that entire edge and click OK. I probably want to do the same on this one here. So let's make that one, if it will. It looks like that doesn't look happy, does it? That bit there. Let's just see. Can we see what's going on there? Why does it not want to do a fillet on that, I wonder? Okay. All right, there's some problem. All right, well, I'm just going to ignore that because I want to move on anyway. Anyway, there's the filleting, okay? Don't forget, make sure you're saving your work often, just in case Fusion crashes. So let's have a look at another option. So here's a design for a stand of some sort. Could be an iPad stand, could be a book stand, could be a phone stand, could be a whole range of things, couldn't it? Let's just go to my home view for that. It's sort of jumping about a little bit. There's my home view, that's it. Let's open a new tab and let's go for another sort of variation. So on this one, again, I'm going to make sure I'm saving it into the right location. I'm going to call this Mr. Wilson Stand Design 2. Oh, I forgot to put year 9 in there, didn't I? So I'd probably put Mr. Wilson year 9, Stand 2. Click Save. And let's imagine you've got two sides and you want pieces that connect them together. Let's show you how you can do that fairly quickly and easily. I'm going to draw from the right hand side again because again I'm going to start with a profile. Okay. I'm going to drag out a rectangle and again you need to be taking account of whatever it is you're designing for. Okay, so my phone is 150 high, so if I wanted the stand to be as high as the phone, which it doesn't really need to be because that would be pretty big, but let's imagine it does, I'm going to tick out a square like that. I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to come in a bit, and if you look at these squares on the grid, you can tell how big you can sort of gauge the size things. It's got sizes down here, 25, 50, 75, 100. Now, that makes sense, doesn't it? Because we dragged it out to be 150 by 100 this way. As you zoom out, those squares will get either, they'll jump to bigger units. That's now 25, 50, 75, 100. Or if you zoom in, you can see they're dividing in a different way. Now you've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and so on. So you can, just to get a sort of a gauge of sizes, you can use that. It's quite a useful thing to get used to doing. I'm just going to put a line in then. So this would be 10, 20 millimeters in from the top. And I'm going to come down. I'm more interested in the angle than the length, to be honest, because the length I'm just going to do by eye. But I want the angle to be 110 and it's 110 because that's the reciprocal of 70. Okay, 110 plus 70 would make 180, of course. Okay, let's just jump across to the length then. 133.697 is a little bit random for my liking, so let's go 135, and then we click that in place. Okay, then I'm just going to take a line, and I'm going to come at 90 degrees to the first line all the way until it touches that. Okay, and that's me sort of largely done. Remember, we can turn off these dimensions if they're getting in our way. Now imagine this is a side profile, this L-shaped piece, and then I want to have two of these, and I want it attached with a couple of holes or connected with a couple of rods. So I'm going to draw some circles that are the size of the connecting piece, and the diameters of bar and connecting pieces, well, they vary enormously, but typical, multiples of 3 is quite common, so 3, 6, and so on. So I'm going to put a 6mm hole there. Then I'm going to come up and I'm going to put a second one, so using my circle, C for circle, on the same line, I'm going to put another one up here, and type in my 6mm there as well. And I might decide that I want another one over here as well. So let's just come and do another one here. Yeah, I don't really like the look of that. It looks a bit close to things, doesn't it? What about if we come... Yeah, okay. Well, that doesn't look like good design to me at all. But anyway, let's go with it. The reason I don't like it is because it's really rather close to this, and it's also further, it's not the same distance from the front there. Anyway, let's go on. So I'm then going to extrude that, and we know how to extrude because we did it just now. We select that area, and we're going to pull this out. Let's imagine that this piece is actually, I don't know, 6mm fiberboard or something. So as I pull that out, I'm going to change that to 6. Okay, I'm going to say that that's a new component, and I'm going to click OK. And you'll see what happens. I end up with a piece that's got 3 holes in it, and in my browser here, I've now got something called component 1. I'm going to double click on that and call that side support, because that's what it is. Okay, and as before, you'll notice that our sketch is no longer visible. So I need to come into my sketches and just make it visible again, because what I want to do now is actually extrude where the holes are. So if I click back to my front view, and now I select, oops, sorry, I need to press my E button. Now I select that one, and I select that one, and I select that one. Okay, and then I come back to my home view. I'm going to pull these out, and I want the distance of these to be 70, because my phone was 70 wide. You'll notice it's trying to do a join command for us, so we're going to change that to new component and click OK. And then component 2, which is the one we've just created, we now can call, what would we call those? Connecting rods. Okay, and that's our drawing mostly done, because to create the other side, all I need is a copy of the side support. I can turn my sketch back off. I don't really need that anymore. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the side support in this browser. I'm going to right click and copy it. Then I'm going to move my mouse over into the area of the drawing, and I'm going to right click here and paste like so. Now something does, oh, here we go. And then I'm going to drag that along here. Now, if you notice, if I drag that to 60, the rods are still sticking out the end. If I drag it to 70, then the rods don't reach all the way through. So just doing my maths, I think that if the whole thing is supposed to be 70 wide and the rods are 70 long, but this has got a thickness of 6, then I think that wants to be 64. So let's click enter, and there we go. Okay, so that's how I would connect something or draw something up if I had different sides for it. I can use obviously my fillet tool to say that, for example, yeah, I don't want these corners being left like this. In fact, sorry, on this, because this is a copy of this, you should be able to just select them on the original. So here, and I won't put a fillet there, here, and on that line there, and maybe there as well. Let's try a 2, or that's a bit small, let's try a 5mm radius on those. And you can see, because this is a copy of this one, it is just applying that straight to it. If I want to do a fillet on that entire face, maybe a bit smaller, 2mm, something like that. Again, it's going to radius this off. And if I want to do one on this side, again, F for fillet, click on there, 2mm again, and it's going to radius that off. Final thing may be that I want to obviously add my finishing of materials. You can see with the filleting, it actually fillets into those holes as well. You might or might not like that. If you don't like it, then you could just work your way around the edges instead. To make it look like we said this was like 6mm plywood or something, didn't we? I'm going to come down to the bottom to where I've got the woods. Some of our plywood is bamboo, so it might be a good idea to drag that onto there for bamboo. And your rods, well, entirely up to you. They could be steel or something, in which case you go into the metal options that you've got here, or aluminium. Let's imagine it's blue aluminium. And with this appearance, you can move it onto the object, but it just does one. Sorry to disappoint you, we don't have blue aluminium, by the way. But anyway, or you can come across here and you can drag it onto the connecting rods, and it will do all of them in one go. Okay, don't forget to do your Command S nice and often. All right, well done.